I was thinning out my spinach plants the other day and realized something kind of silly. I was tossing all those extra seedlings straight into the compost bin instead of actually using them. So, while I was sipping my morning coffee, I had a small light bulb moment. Why not move those thinning seedlings into a hydroponic setup, like the one I built in my previous video? It's the easiest option considering my limited space, and honestly, it lets me channel my inner Popeye by growing even more spinach. Once I had the idea, it was time to plan some things out. In my current hydroponic setup, I use a coco coir and perlite mix as the grow medium, which is basically the material that supports the plant and gives the roots something to anchor onto. I normally use this mix because it allows me to germinate seeds directly inside the medium. But since these spinach seedlings are already sprouted, I realized I don't actually need a traditional medium this time. That's when I came across something called cloning collars. Cloning collars are soft foam rings that hold a plant in place so its roots can hang freely in the water below. All I have to do is gently slide each seedlings into the slit of the collar and the roots can dangle right into the nutrient solution. No extra soil, no mess, and a super easy way to give those little spinach plants a second chance to grow. I will link all the items I use in this video in the description below, so feel free to check those out. After finding the cloning collars, I ran into a bit of a roadblock. I don't want to use the bottom rack of my grow lights because I have something special planned for a future video. So I needed to find another spot to grow those spinach plants. To get some inspiration, I scrolled through my YouTube shorts and came across an older video where I tried to make a small desktop hydroponic system. The problem with that setup was the light I chose, it just wasn't strong enough for healthy growth. Spinach might be a pretty forgiving plant, but it still needs a decent amount of light, and that little lamp just wasn't cutting it. This time around, I knew I needed something a bit more beefy, something that could actually support the plants as they get bigger. But despite the lighting issue, I still love the overall idea. The seedlings only needed about 24 ounces of nutrient solution to grow, so the container I used in that video is actually the perfect size. Plus, I had already cut a sock to slide over the outside of the container to block out light from reaching the water. This is important because light can cause algae to grow in the nutrient solution, which can compete with your plants. And since the sock slides up and down, I can easily lift it to check on the roots anytime I want. So with the container already figured out, the next step was deciding where I was going to get that stronger light source. But the solution to my lighting problem basically slapped me in the face the moment I walked outside. Why not just use the sun? It's the strongest, most consistent light source we have, and it's completely free. Normally, I avoid growing plants outside because I don't have a proper greenhouse to keep rain from getting into my hydroponic systems. Rainwater can dilute the nutrients, overflow the container, or introduce contaminants. But this time, things are different. Since I'm using cloning collars, they create a nice snug seal around the top of the container, which helps keep rain and moisture out. That means I can safely put this little setup outdoors without worrying about the whole thing filling up with water during the next storm. Now it's time to put everything together. First, I try to pick some of the larger spinach seedlings to thin out. Choosing slightly bigger seedlings usually means they already have a stronger root system, which gives them a better chance of adapting to their new hydroponic environment. For each container, I'm going to grab 3 seedlings. My hope is that at least one will take off, and once I see which one is thriving, I can thin it down to just the strongest plant. Before moving them over, I like to rinse the seedlings in a cup of clean water. This helps wash away any soil from the roots so they are nice and clean before going into the nutrient solution. Hydroponics works best when everything is as sterile as possible, so removing soil and microbes gives your plants a much better start. Once the roots are cleaned up, I gently slide each seedling into the cloning collar, trying to make sure that the roots are roughly the same length. In a setup like this, it's important that part of the roots sit in the water to drink, while the upper parts stay above the water line for oxygen. If they sit too high, they can dry out. Getting them even gives each one the best chance to survive. With the seedlings secure in the collars, it's time to mix the nutrient solution. If you are new here, I keep it super simple. I add 2 teaspoons of Big Grow hydroponic mix into a 1-gallon jug of water. Give it a good shake, and that's it. Then I fill the container to the ideal height, just enough so the bottom of the roots touch the water. Next, I like to place the cloning collar into a net pot. This step isn't required, but it makes the collar easier to lift out later when I want to check on the roots. If you have net cups lying around, it's a nice little upgrade. Once everything is set, I double check that the roots are just barely touching the nutrient solution. If it looks good, I slide the sock over the jar to block any light and prevent algae buildup. And with that, the system is ready to go. I will also flash a few clips of Julius Caesar. No, not the historical leader, but my romaine lettuce plant that I grew using a very similar method. That plant turned out amazing, so I'm hoping these spinach seedlings follow in his footsteps. Thanks for watching till the end. If you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. That helps the channel a ton. And as always, happy growing.